Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyatha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitam Cha Om Jnana Timaranda Shagana Jana Shilagya Shakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurava Bhistam Supurakam Guraganana Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasthaveda Nibbanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Abhidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divya Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pradam Devam Divya Tanum Suchandabana Nambalarka Chailanchidam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubhanam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Vanshakopatarubyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurata Vishay Namah. We're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prataparudra Ki Jai. This is Madhya-lila, chapter 14, performance of the Vrindaban pastimes. Verse number 94. Aparanaya shikoila darshana nartan nishatati hujaneyasi korila shayan. In the afternoon, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Gundicha temple to visit the Lord and dance. At night, he went to the garden to take rest. Aradin ashikoila ishwara darshan Prangane Nritya Gita Koila Katakan. The next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also went to the temple of Gundicha and saw the Lord. He then chanted and danced in the yard for some time. Bhaktagana Sange Prabhu Ujjane Asiya Vrindavana Bihara Kore Bhaktagana Loya. Accompanied by his devotee, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went into the garden and enjoyed the pastimes of Vrindaban. Vrikavale Prafulita Prabhura Darshane Bringa Pika Gaya Bahe Shitala Pavane. There were multifarious trees and creepers in the garden, and they were all jubilant to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Indeed, the birds were chirping, the bees were buzzing, and a cool breeze was blowing. Prati Vrika Tale Prabhu Korana Nartan Vasudeva Datta Matra Korana Gayan. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced beneath each and every tree, Vasudeva Datta sang alone. Eka Eka Brikatali Eka Eka Ganagai Parama Aveshe Ek Nache Gorarai. As Vasudeva Datta sang a different song beneath each and every tree, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced there alone in great ecstasy. Tabe Bakreshware Prabhu Kolila Nachite Bakreshwara Nache Prabhu Lagila Gaite. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then ordered Bakreshwara Pandit to dance, and as he began to dance, the Lord began to sing. Prabhu Sange Swarupade Kirtaniya Gai Dik Bidik Nahi Jnana Primara Banjai. The devotees like Swarup, Damodar, and other kirtan performers began to sing along with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Being inundated with ecstatic love, they lost all consideration of time and circumstance. Matakata Kan Korebana Lila Narendra Sarovari Gela Korite Jalakela. After thus performing pastimes in the garden for some time, they all went to a lake called Narendra Sarovara and there enjoyed sporting in the water. Jalakrida Koripuna Aila Ujjane Bhojana-lila Koila Prabhu Loya Bhaktagane. After sporting in the water, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to the garden and accepted prasadam with the devotees. Navadina Gundichate Rahe Jagannath Mahaprabhu Aiche Lila Kore Bhaktasat. For 9 continuous days, his lordship, Sri Jagannath Deva, stayed at the Gundicha temple. During this time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also stayed there and performed the pastimes with his devotees that have already been described. Jagannath Ballabha Nama, Bora Pushparam, Nabadina Koren Prabhu, Tatai Bishram. The garden of his pastimes was very large and was named Jagannath Vallabha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his rest there for 9 days. Hera Panchamira Dina Aila Janiya Kashimishre Koheraja Shayatna Korea. Knowing that the Herami Panchami festival was drawing near, Maharaj Prataparudra attentively talked with Kashimishra. Kalya Herama Panchami Habe Lakmira Vijay Aiche Utsava Kora Jena Kabu Nahi Hoy. Tomorrow will be the function of Hera Panchami or Lakshmi Vijay. Hold this festival in a way that it has never been held before. Mahotsava Kora Taiche Vishesha Sambar Deki Mahaprabhu Jaiche Hoya Chamatkar. Maharaj Prataparudra said, hold this festival in such a gorgeous way that upon seeing it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be completely pleased and astonished. Thakur bandare ara amara bandare chitrabastra kinkini ara chatra chamare. Take as many printed cloths and small bells, umbrellas, and chamaras as there are in my storehouse and in the deity's storehouse. Dvaja Vrinda Patak Gantaya Koraha Mandan Nanabhadya Nritya Dholai Koraha Sajan. Collect all kinds of small and large flags and ringing bells, then decorate the carrier and have various musical and dancing parties accompany it. In this way, decorate the carrier attractively. This will be the carrier of Lakshmi. Duiguna Koriyal Kora Saba Upahar Rata Jatra Hoite Jaite Jaiche Hoya Chamatkar. You should also double the quantity of prasadam. Make so much that it will even surpass the Rath Yatra festival. Seta Koriya Prabhu Loya Bhaktagan Swachande Asiya Jaiche Korana Darshan. Arrange the festival in such a way that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may freely go with all his devotees to visit the deity without difficulty. Pratakale Mahaprabhu Nijagana Loya Jagannath Darshana Koila Sundarachala Jana. In the morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his personal associates with him to see Lord Jagannath at Sundarachala. Sundarachala is the Gundicha temple. The temple of Jagannath at Jagannath Puri is called Nilachala, and the temple of Gundicha is called Sundarachala. Nilachali Aila Puna Bhaktagan Sange Dekite Utkanta Hera Panchamira Range. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal devotees returned to Nilachala with great eagerness to see the Hera Panchami festival. Kashimishra Prabhure Bahu Adara Korea Swagana Saha Balo Stani Basila Loya. Kashimishra received Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great respect, and taking the Lord and his associates to a very nice place, he had them seated. Rasa Vishesha Prabhu Shunite Manahoila Ishad Hashiya Prabhu Swarupe Puchila. After taking a seat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to hear about a particular mellow of devotional service. Therefore, mildly smiling, he began to question Swarup Damodar. Rasa Visesh. He wanted to hear about a particular kind of rasa. Jajapi Jagannath Korin Dwarakai Bihar Sahaja Prakata Kore Parama Udar Tatapi Vatsaram Madhye Hoy Ekbar Vrindavana Dekite Tara Utkanta Apar. Although Lord Jagannath enjoys his pastimes at Dwarkadam and naturally manifests sublime liberality there, still once a year he becomes unlimitedly eager to see Vrindaban. Vrindavana Sama E Upavanagan Tahadaki Bare Utkantita Hoyman. Pointing out the neighboring gardens, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, all these gardens exactly resemble Vrindaban, therefore Lord Jagannath is very eager to see them again. Bahira hoite kore rata chatra chao, Sundarachala jai Prabhu chade nila chao. Externally, he gives the excuse that he wants to participate in the Ratha Yatra festival, but actually he wants to leave Jagannath Puri to go to Sundarachala, the Gundicha temple, a replica of Vrindavan. Nana pushpo jane tata kele ratri dine, Lakshmi Vijay sange nahi loy kikarane. The Lord enjoys his pastimes day and night in various flower gardens there. But why does he not take Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, with him? Why doesn't he? Why doesn't Jagannath take his wife, Lakshmi Devi, with him when he goes on the Ratha Yatra? Swarupa kohe shuna prabhu karana ihar, Vrindavana kridate lakmira nahi adhikar. Swarup Damodar replied, my dear Lord, please hear the reason for this. Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, cannot be admitted to the pastimes of Vrindaban. Vrindavana lilai, Krishna sahaya gopigan, bina Krishna harite nariman. In the pastimes of Vrindaban, the only assistants are the gopis. But for the gopis, no one can attract the mind of Krishna. Prabhu kohe jatra chale Krishna ragaman, Subhadra arabaladeva sangi duijan. The Lord said, using the car festival as an excuse, Krishna goes there with Subhadra and Baladev. Gopi sange jatalila hoy ud upabane nigura Krishnara baba kehunai nahijane. All the pastimes with the gopis take place in those gardens. All the pastimes with the gopis that take place in those gardens are very confidential ecstasies of Krishna. No one knows them. Ateva Krishnara prakatye nahi kichudosh tabikene lakme devi kore eta rosh. Since there is no fault at all in Krishna's pastimes, why does the goddess of fortune become angry? Swarup kohe premavatira eta swabam kantera odasya leshe hoy krodabhav. Swarup Damodar replied, it is the nature of a girl afflicted by love to become immediately angry upon finding any neglect on the part of her lover. Okay. Swarup Damodar replied, it is the nature of a girl afflicted by love to become immediately angry upon finding any neglect on the part of her lover. Henakale Kachita Jahe Bibida Ratan Subarnera Chodola Kori Arohan. While Swarup Damodar and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were talking, the procession of the Goddess of Fortune came by. She was riding upon a golden palanquin carried by 4 men and bedecked with a variety of jewels. Chatra Chamara Dvaja Pratakaragan Nanabadya Aginache Devadashigan. The palanquin was also surrounded by people carrying umbrellas, chamara whisks, and flags, and it was preceded by musicians and dancing girls. Many musicians and dancing girls preceding the procession of Lakshmi, and she's in a carrier, or carried by 4 men. Tambulas Sambhuta Jare Vyanjana Chamar Satadashi Shatahara Divya Bhushambar. The maidservants were carrying water pitchers, chamar whisks, and boxes for betel nuts. There were hundreds of maidservants, all attractively dressed and wearing valuable necklaces. Alukika Ishvarya Sange Bahu Parivar Kruda Hoya Lakshmi Devi Aila Simadwar. In an angry mood, the Goddess of Fortune arrived at the main gate of the temple, accompanied by many members of her family, all of whom exhibited uncommon opulence. In an angry mood, the Goddess of Fortune arrived at the main gate. This is of Gundicha, I believe. Main gate of the temple, accompanied by many maidservants of her family, all of whom exhibited uncommon opulence. Jagannatharam Mukya Jata Prityagane Lakshmi Devir Dashigan Korana Bandhane. When the procession arrived, the maidservants of the Goddess of Fortune began to arrest all the principal servants of Lord Jagannath. Bandiyaniya Pade Latmira Charane Charijena Dandakori Loy Nanadane. The maidservants bound the servants of Jagannath, handcuffed them, and made them fall down at the lotus feet of the Goddess of Fortune. Indeed, they were arrested just like thieves who have all their riches taken away. When Lord Jagannath starts his car festival, he gives assurance to the Goddess of Fortune, Lakshmi, that he will return the next day. When he does not return, the Goddess of Fortune, after waiting 2 to 3 days, begins to feel that her husband has neglected her. She naturally becomes quite angry. Gorgeously decorating herself and her associates, she comes out of the temple and stands before the main gate. All the principal servants of Lord Jagannath are then arrested by her maidservants, brought before her and forced to fall down at her lotus feet. Achaitanavat Tari Korana Tarane Nanamata Galidena Bandabachane. When the servants fall down before the lotus feet of the Goddess of Fortune, they almost fell unconscious. They were chastised and made the butt of jokes and loose language. Lakshmi Sange Dashiganer Pragabhya Dekiya Hasema Prabhur Gana Muke Hastadiya. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates saw such impudence exhibited by the maidservants of the Goddess of Fortune, they covered their faces with their hands and began to smile. Damodar kohe aiche manera prakar Sri Jagate kahanahi deke shunyar. Swarup Damodar said, "There is no egoistic pride like this within the 3 worlds. At least I have never seen or heard of it. Manini nirut sahe chare Vibhushan Bhume Base Nake Leke Malina Badan." When a woman is neglected and disappointed out of egoistic pride, she gives up her ornaments and morosely sits down on the ground, marking lines on it with their nails. Purve Satyabhamar Shuni Evam Bidaman Braje Gopi Ganer Mana Rasera Nidan. I have heard of this kind of pride in Satyabhama, Krishna's proudest queen, and I have also heard of it in the gopis of Vrindaban, who are the reservoirs of all transcendental mellows. Iho nija sambhati sab prakata koriya priyara uparavajaya sainya sahaja. But in the case of the goddess of fortune, I see a different kind of pride. She manifests her own opulences and even goes with her soldiers to attack her husband. After seeing the impudence of the goddess of fortune, Swarup Damodar wanted to inform Mahaprabhu about the super excellence of the gopis' loving affairs. He therefore said, "My Lord, I have never experienced anything like the behavior of Lakshmi. We sometimes see a beloved wife becoming proud of her position and then frustrated due to some neglect. She then gives up caring for her appearance, accepts dirty clothes, and morosely sits on the ground and draws lines with her nails. We have heard of such egoistic pride in Satyabhama and the gopis of Vrindaban, but what we see in the goddess of fortune here at Jagannath Puri is completely different. She becomes very angry with her husband and attacks him with her great opulence, because that's her mood. It's the mood of Lakshmi, Aishvarya, with great opulence, she'll attack. Prabhu ko hai kaha brajera manera prakar, Swarup ko hai gopi man nadi shatadar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Please tell me of the varieties of egoistic pride manifested in Vrindaban." Swarup Damodar replied, "The pride of the gopis is like a river flowing with hundreds of tributaries. Nayikara swabhava prema vritti bahubeda, se bede nana prakar manera udbeda." The characteristics and modes of love are different in different women. Their jealous anger also takes on different varieties and qualities. Samyak gopikara mana na jai katan ek dui bede kore dig darashan. It is not possible to give a complete statement about the different types of jealous anger manifested by the gopis, but a few principles may serve as an indication. Mane keho hoi dira keho ta adir 18 bede keho hoi dira dir. There are three types of women experiencing jealous anger: sober women, restless women, and women both restless and sober. Dira kante duredeki kore pradyutana nikate ashile kore asana pradhan. When a sober heroine sees her husband approaching from a distance, she immediately stands up to receive him. When he comes near, she immediately offers him a place to sit. Now this is when the woman feels hurt by her husband's neglect, okay? When a sober heroine sees her husband approaching from a distance, she immediately stands up to receive him. When he comes near, she immediately offers him a place to sit. Hridaye kopa muke kohe madhura bachan priya alingite tare kore alingan. The sober heroine conceals her anger within her heart and externally speaks sweet words. When her lover embraces her, she returns his embrace. Surala Bhyabahar Kori Manera Poshan Kimba Salunta Bhakye Kori Priya Nirasan. The sober heroine is very simple in her behavior. She keeps her jealous anger within her heart, but with mild words and smiles, she rejects the advances of her lover. Adira Nishtura Bhakye Koraye Bartsan Karnot Pale Tare Kore Malaya Badan, the restless heroine. So that's the sober heroine. The restless heroine, however, sometimes chastises her lover with cruel words, sometimes pulls his ear, and sometimes binds him with a flower garland. Dira Dira Bakra Bakke Kore Upahas, Kabu Stute, Kabu Ninda, Kabu Ba Udas. The heroine, who is a combination of sobriety and restlessness, always jokes with equivocal words with double meaning. She sometimes praises her lover, sometimes blasphemes him, and sometimes remains indifferent. Mudga Madhya Pragalbya Tina Naikara Bed Mudga Nahi Jane Maner Vaidagya Vibed. Heroines may also be classified as captivated, intermediate, and impudent. The captivated heroine does not know very much about the cunning intricacies of jealous anger. Mukha Achadiya Kore Kevala Rodan Kantera Priya Bhakya Shune Hoy Parasan. The captivated heroine simply covers her face and goes on crying. When she hears sweet words from her lover, she is very satisfied. Madhya Pragalbya Dori Dira Dibibed Taramadje Sabara Swabab Bave Tinabed. Both the intermediate and impudent heroines can be classified as sober, restless, and both sober and restless. All their characteristics can be further classified in three directions. Keho prakara keho mridu keho hoy sam Swabhabe Krishnara Badaya Prema Sima. Some of these heroines are very talkative. Some are mild and some are equipoised. Each heroine, according to her own character, increases Sri Krishna's loving ecstasy. Prakarya Mardabas Samya Swabhava Nirdosh Se Swabhabe Krishne Koraya Santosh. Although some of the gopis are talkative, some mild and some equipoised, all of them are transcendental and faultless. They please Krishna by their unique characteristics. Ekata Shunya Prabhur Ananda Par Kaha Kaha Damodara Bole Bar Bar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt unlimited happiness upon hearing these descriptions, and he again and again requested Swarup Damodar to continue speaking. Damodar Kohe Krishna Rasika Shekar Rasha Swadaka Rasa Moy Kolebar. Damodar Goswami said, Krishna is the master of all transcendental mellows and the master of all Krishna is the master of all transcendental mellows and the taster of all transcendental mellows. And his body is composed of transcendental bliss. So, Krishna is the master of all rasas and the taster of all rasas, and his body is composed of, his body is rasamoy kolevara. His body is made of rasa. Premamoya Bapu Krishna Bhakta Prema Din Shuddha Preme Rasagune Gopika Praveen. Krishna is full of ecstatic love and always subordinate to the love of his devotees. The gopis are very much experienced in pure love and in the dealings of transcendental mellows, which is rasa, the different kinds of rasas. Gopikara premi nahi rasa basadosh ateva krishnera kore parama santosh. There is no flaw or adulteration in the love of the gopis. Therefore, they give Krishna the highest pleasure. Evam shashankam shu virajita nisha sasatya kamo nurata balagana sisheva atman yavaruda sorata sarva sharat kavya katarasashraya. Sri Krishna, who is the absolute truth, enjoyed his rasa dance every night during the autumn season. He performed this dance in the moonlight and with transcendental mellows. Let's see. Transcendental mellows. He used poetic words and surrounded himself with women who were very much attracted to him. So at this point, I'm going to stop for today, and tomorrow we will continue. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopa Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Maranamon Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garadara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatam Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jahoite Vignana Shamista Puran Echai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Tasaba Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Echai Gosai Jar Muitarada Tasaba Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Sabar Bada Renu Mora Panchagras Ader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Ader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Ambilas Janame Janame More Ambilas Echai Gosai Jave Braje Koilabas Echai Gosai Jave Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Hare Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Anande bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamudas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamudas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Statara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Statara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsi Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishwavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Guna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Shri Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Shri Kartik Vrata Ki Jai. Shri Damodar Vrata Ki Jai. Shri Niyama Seva ki jai, Shri Urja Vrata ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Shri Krishna Rasa Yatra ki jai.
Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.